Welcome to the Check Ball Show, sponsored by Prize Picks. I'm Austin Mills, Drew Hanlen, Frankie Delgado, and joined by a street ball legend, our guest today, the Professor Grayson. I don't know if I'm allowed to say Grayson. Of course.
You're good, bro. It's all good.
Frankie was like, yo, Drew, Austin, I got this crazy guest for today. He's a legend. I've seen him nutmeg someone in person. We have to have him on the show. And we knew right away he was talking about the Professor.
There's only one guy that can do that, right? Not the bone collector.
Wow.
Saying not bone? Dang.
No, Bone is
No,
up there.
I'm saying bone collectors. It could have been the bone collectors. My point.
Got you. Hey, no, appreciate you guys having me, though, man. For sure.
So, Fess, I think all of us, you know, we've have the mixtapes here. We've seen the documentaries and stuff. But can you talk to us about how it all started? What, like, the first thing really was for you in your life that made you who you are today?
Yeah, I think, who I am today, I think it actually goes way back further than N1. Like, you know, when I was in 4th grade, my parents got me a trainer. You know, like, this is before people had trainers, though. I don't even know. It's funny because he's still my close friend today, but I think he got the inspiration from somewhere out of state or some East Coast dude that was training people individually. And the dude, his name's Rodney Howard, but he played at Oregon State. He was, like, roommates with Gary Payton. But he was 5'7", so like he motivated me as like a small guy who played at a high level, and but he was just really good at teaching footwork. So he taught me like in and out crossover, then the Iverson crossover, and I mastered that Iverson crossover. I was like able to cross over adults, you know what I'm saying, and score. So I was already known as somebody with like handles when I was like 4th grade. So I think it started there with just mastering like the basic moves or whatever, and then I started culturing and one like maybe freshman year in high school. Sophomore year in high school, maybe. And then, because I think we saw N1 Mixtape Volume 2. And, it kind of changed my life. I went and then I got on eBay and I bought Volume 1. You know what I'm saying? I was a little bit late to it. Like, I wasn't on Volume 1 when it came out, like 1998. But got Volume 1 and I liked Volume 1 even more. And then next thing you know, every time the tape come out, I'm getting it. And then, you know, the rest, you know. I could go on and on, but yeah, I think it started when I was young. You know, the foundational skill sets of ball handling. You know what I mean? It's funny because a lot of people like consume that with just the tricks, or like they look at even how I play and this is like tricks or whatever. But like one thing I know is you can't like play in front of a live crowd or go anywhere in the world, have an amazing show if you can't like play fundamentally, right? Because to me, like a jump shot's a big part of that. You know what I mean? You gotta be able to shoot and all that. So yeah, I think it started early.
I got something for you guys. So look at this. This is crazy because you talked about when you were younger.
Yeah.
And so when I was younger, I mean, these were like the most prized possessions. You know what I mean? Like when I found out that like, you know, Foot Locker or Champs or whoever, you know, used to distribute them, when they were going to have them, there used to be lines outside. Yeah, foot action. There used to be
first. It was, and then it was
there
everywhere.
used to be lines outside. And so then, you know, if you didn't want to wait in the line, you had to like find a way in, and you had to find somebody that got to know. And originally they'd be sold out on eBay and stuff like that. Like you could not buy them online. Yeah. But these were like the most prized possessions. But I found a little clip for y'all. We'll have to put it on the pod. But check this out right here. This is me in the kitchen dribbling with a little street ball action right here. But I mean, it's me doing like over top loop and stuff like that. So when you think about like when you were younger, you know, did you start just doing all these, you know, you talk about the fundamentals, inside out crossover, Iverson crossover, which is funny because back in the day there were so few moves that you had like 8 signature moves and they all had like a player's name. You know, like a retreat dribble, people were like, this is the Grand Hill. You know, if you like turn and pop your hips open.
Sure, yeah.
But did you do that? Like, did you just freestyle dribbling all the time, or how did you get good with your handle?
Yeah, I think for me, yeah, for sure. A lot of just myself in the driveway, at the park, whatever. But I think a big component was playing a lot of one-on-one too. You know what I mean? I did do that freestyle component where you're watching yourself dribble in the mirror a lot. You know what I mean? I bust out the camera. I had a video like that, similar to.
I think everyone here probably did that.
For sure.
The mirror, you against the mirror.
Sony Handycam, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I think a lot of one-on-one was really key, right? Because I think like from 3rd grade on, I could create my own shot, and so you know how that translates to the game. Well, recently LeBron, he said one-on-one don't translate, but I believe it does. I believe it directly translates in a major way. There are some differences, and like he's saying, it's not the real game. I agree. Like some dudes on the bench might beat the starter one-on-one because it's a different game, right? But for me, just playing a lot of one-on-one, but then really just I think I had a gift for like understanding the footwork. Like I can like see somebody do something, and then like even now I'll see some. I might go do it in my next game. You know what I'm saying? And it'll work. Not always, but like you know what I mean. Like I realized I had a gift for that. Like when I was younger.
So I kind of have a little funny story for you because you were a big inspiration for me. I don't know if I've ever told you this. I've known you a long time.
Hey, humble.
But my dad used to run a gym for NBA players in the summertime, kind of like you see the Rico Hines runs or you see these runs.
Okay.
My dad had a run up at UCLA, and it was like all the biggest NBA players. Kobe, Shaq, everyone.
Dang.
And I used to like, and it wasn't open to the public.
And it was before that too, right? Magic Johnson was.
Yeah, Magic started it and gave it to my dad, and there was no
Oh,
public
wow, I didn't know
allowed.
that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it was popping up there. But I would be up there like basically doing everything you were doing. Like, you know, when you do the move on the floor and like putting the ball in my shirt.
You know what's funny? I never did those moves.
Really?
They're fan moves. Like I'll tell you more about it. Go ahead. No.
So anyway, no, it was just funny because you were so popular and so widely known that even these monster NBA players would call me the professor because I was obviously this little white kid that was doing all these moves that you were doing on camera. But they literally started calling me the professor because I was doing all these moves around the gym.
You're like, no, I'm the student. No, but
That's hard, bro. No,
Yeah,
humble,
sick.
man. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
sick.
More.
less.
You know what time it is. It's Prize Picks time. Use code BallerMedia. You play $5, you get $50 back. And Prize Picks is now doing live squares, which means in the middle of the game, in case you missed it, you can live a play.
Then I'm just gonna win now, man. And it's Victory Monday today, just so you guys know.
Tell us why, Frank.
Because yesterday the Chargers won, and Justin Herbert went for more yards.
I was on more Bengals, so that one hurt.
So guess what? Loser.
Use code BallerMedia.
We gotta talk about this influencer world now that like everybody's an influencer, right? But like
Yep.
you really set the point, the standard of the basketball influencer. And I think I don't know if everybody here. I'm sure you guys were inspired by this movie. You might have not been born yet, but Above the Rim kind of created that like the street ball playing ball and like in that move that guy did and he hit in the what was that move called?
You talking about the one where he goes behind the back in front of the defense?
Yeah, where he's going like this and then he throws the ball behind his back and he like turns around on him. And
I don't think it has a name. I do one that's like baseline behind the back, but I don't think it had a name back then.
But
Maybe
that
it
move
did.
was incredible. That made me want to like practice that move over and over. And I back in the day when I was a little bit more athletic, I would try it and it would work because people would fall for it.
Yeah.
But you really, when I was, what was that, like probably 2005, 2006, when I saw you play at that Lakers court that they did, and there was a bunch of celebrities playing there. I think Jaleel White was there. And that's where you nutmeg I'm not going to say who it was because I don't want to hurt his feelings. But you nutmeg someone, and I'm like, I need to start doing that. And I used it for my advantage because I wasn't a fast player, so I would always nutmeg people. And even Drew, I've done it in front of Drew at these rec leagues games.
I thought he was about to say you did it to me. I was about to say, no, we're not going to let him
whoa,
count
whoa,
on camera,
Coach. Coach. We know where we stand here. We know where we stand here. You're the best one-on-one player I've ever played against, but I have backed him down and shacked him a couple times. But that's all I got against him. But yeah, dude, you are that guy. You are the influencer to all these kids out there that were like growing up, and they would see you on those mixtapes, and we had a shot because we were all small. Like we were all like 5'5", 5'6" at that point.
When you were transitioning from and one mixtape to today's world of social, he talked about being an influencer. You have huge followings across all platforms. Was there one video in particular that made you go viral, or did the younger generation know who you are? Because obviously you're more of our generation and not these like teenagers now. Or did they know who you were just because of who you were?
I think it brought new awareness to a new audience, but also connected the dots for the older audience. But yeah, I had a video. So I started my YouTube channel 2009. No basketball
early.
influencers, right? I was the first basketball influencer just on accident,
True.
I think it's first sports creator, just because I'm like, hey, this is the closest thing to TV that I know of, and like. My teammates weren't really as on social media. You know what I mean? They're like 10 years older than me. So, like, you know how younger people are always more savvy on tech, you know,
Yeah,
just naturally, right? Even like now, right? But so yeah, and one dried all the way up. Like when the company got bought out, I think I bought out 2005. Same day we were on the cover of the Sports Illustrated. Like same day somebody handed it to me. Like 5 minutes later, somebody told me the company had been bought out.
Wow.
I don't even know what that means, right? I'm 20. I don't even know what it means. So I'm like,
the business.
we
side
still
of it is
hooping?
different.
Yeah. I'm like, we still get to play? And they're like, yeah. Everything's, you know, they didn't want us to panic either, right?
Right.
They're like, yeah, it's all the same, man. Just letting you know, different boss to report to. It's all good. So from there, it was never quite the same. It went till 08. But when our contracts ended at the end of 2008, it only took 6 months to a year for popularity to massively die down. We know how fast media moves now, right? Imagine if you didn't have your social, though, right? Like, if you be out the league or, like, off a TV show or something, you'll literally be forgetting about 6 months to a year.
Right.
Really 2 years, you out of there. Like, but I remember I went to a UCLA game, and only one person recognized me. He couldn't even name me, and this was in 2010.
Wow.
Yeah, one person was like, hey,
Aren't you that guy?
no, that he goes, didn't you play on like a tournament on a basketball tournament on TV or something? And I was like, yeah, it was a really humbling moment because like a year or two before that, I had security at wherever, you know,
Right.
just for safety or whatever, just to make my life easier. So that was really humbling. And then I was still doing the YouTube thing. You know how demographics are, though. Like, some of those got big views, right? Because they can be like, that's the professor. But just because, personally, might not, you know, those people all over the world or whatever. So, 2013, I dropped a Spider-Man basketball. It's like the first cosplay sports video or whatever. But my homie came up with it. He's like, bro, you should, like, do a prank. He's like, you never tried to go viral or nothing? And I'm thinking I'm not, like, a creator, like a YouTuber. Because even by 2013, you had YouTubers.
Right.
But I'm like, I was thinking like an athlete. I'm like, it's corny. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a YouTuber, you know what I'm saying? I'm just putting my hoop highlights on there, you know? That's how I wanted to live in that space, you know?
So
like
true,
Meanwhile,
man.
King Corny over here. He'll do anything for views, okay?
No. But look, I don't think it's corny. It's funny. It received
but
differently,
back
though.
then-
You know what I'm
Smart, though,
saying?
yeah.
So look.
Back then it was like
Yeah.
we used to call you the corny man. You know, like,
Well, that's how I made the transition too, because I went from playing college basketball, and my senior year I wasn't playing that much, and I started making trick shot videos just because I thought they were cool, and they were cool at the time because it was like the first thing. I had people coming up to me on campus like, "Yo, that's crazy," and I didn't realize the reach of social yet. And then now everybody is trying to do it, and you did it earlier than I did, but I started doing it in 2016.
Yeah. and that's still early, right?
Well,
It's
you have
crazy.
real fans. I mean, like, I had people coming up to me all over the place when I was really hammering basketball content like that, and I didn't even realize. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
and they were like,
Putting a
professor,
video up."
professor.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, like, I think hoopers have like a small mind a little bit. You know what I mean? Hoopers are like, we're too cool for this, we're too cool for that,
Yeah.
or whatever, not knowing the world's different. Like, personality sells, you know what I mean? Doing fun things. And then plus, like, you on YouTube, ain't no championship. There's no there's no stats being kept or nothing. So what are you doing? You just entertaining. You know what I mean? You might as well sauce up the entertainment to the fifth power. That's what I'd be on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway, my homie was way smarter than I was. Shout out to my guy, Robert Monroe, my good friend. He came up with the idea. He was like, you should do a prank, man. Like, he's like, bro, you know what's big right now? He's like, cosplay. And I'm like, cosplay? He showed me Comic-Con. I never heard of it. You know what I mean? But it was like on the rise. I mean, it still is. But like back then, it was really just like had a cult following, like a small cult following, but it was bigger than I thought. So he's like, you should dress up like a superhero, bro. Go play people one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? Like, we won't say who it is and just like see how it does or whatever. So I just was open-minded. I'm broke at the time. I was like, whatever. I mean, it'll be funny. You know what I'm saying? It'll be funny. I had a lot of time. So yeah, I just went and did that video, bro. It took like 20 minutes, but like it was meant to be. Like, I never missed a shot. All the moves worked. Not that the comp was great, but like still, like,
Right.
you know what I mean? We 100% on there. I could barely see. And then and then yeah, I edited it. I uploaded that.
I'm gonna keep defense. Down.
Next morning, I think it took all night. I had to like catch a flight to LAX for like a tour game, but like by the time I got to LAX, I had like 100K. By the time I got on the plane, I had $1 million. By the time I got to Chicago, I had like 3 million. I was like, what the heck? You know what I mean?
And you were Spider-Man?
Yeah.
And then you didn't you do like a Bugs Bunny one too? Like
Well, I done everything.
Oh,
Like, I got the nerd. We got a Space Jam.
He's got his girl at home. He's like, yeah.
Like it's
what-
Halloween
what-
every day.
Yeah, I'm like delivery
What,
man.
what are we gonna be tonight, girl?
Yeah,
What do
no,
you want me to be tonight? Bugs Bunny.
real talk. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's just entertainment on high, bro.
So let me ask you this, because I obviously, like you said, you know, you finally got into N1 maybe around like volume 2. You know,
Yeah.
when people ask me,
Yeah.
like, they're like, Drew, when you grew up, who are your favorite basketball players? And I'm always like, MJ, number 1, the GOAT.
Facts.
Number 2 for me was Allen Iverson. And I was like, honestly, my third favorite basketball player, if I'm being real, was Hot Sauce. I'm like, I know that's not like a real basketball player, but I'm like,
He was
I
a real
promise
basketball
you,
player.
No, but
was
I'm just
just an
saying, like,
NBA
I mean,
player.
like an NBA player, whatever. And there's been so many, you know, celebrities that have followed me or reached out to me on social media. And I remember the day that Hot Sauce started following me, and I was like, this is the real Hot Sauce? Like, I'm like, oh. And it's funny because you would think, like, you know, when other NBA All-Stars or legends or Hall of Famers, it didn't even faze me. But when, like, Hot Sauce, because I had spent so much time watching this stuff, when you were in this kind of mix, were there guys that you looked up to? Like, did you look up to, like, Hot Sauce, or did you look up to those guys? Like, how did that transition go from, like, you being a hooper to now you being on tour with this guys that were, like, the biggest band group but in the basketball world?
Same as you almost, bro. Like Hot Sauce, AO, Headache, Ali Mo. They were all, I'm like a fan of all of them. You know what I mean? Really Skip and Hot Sauce like my favorite players. You know what I mean? And so when it got the ESPN show, I was elated just as a fan, right? Now we get to watch more. Because, you know, you had to wait. There's on one of these a year, right? Like, media just was so much less than it is now, right? But, yeah, so I found out they had tryouts. And so I'm like, was a tryout? Like, you can go and play? You know what I mean? So I went up to Portland, Oregon. I looked at the tour routing. I think the second city was like Portland, Oregon, and I just went and like tried out. This is actually when I was in college, or I had just graduated. And so I went to play, and I got one move off, and I ended up playing against Sick with it in the N1 game. I really do much, but like I got some highlights off in the open run, and I played against Sick with it, and it's on the first highlights on this tape. Yeah, but then so the next year, a couple of the dudes recognized me, right, because I had played in Portland the year before, and then I knew they were doing the tryout thing again, and I was just like, it's funny for me. It really wasn't about winning the contest. I thought I had no shot to win. I couldn't even believe I played in the game, right? Like I was like, damn, I really got to play against him. You know, I was like a superstar in my hometown for like a year for that. So I'm not thinking I can win, but I'm just like, I'll play just for fun. I got nothing to lose. You know, maybe I'll make the game again. And then next thing I know, now I'm going against Hot Sauce. I think he actually like dropped me too, like in the game, like touch earth. You know what I mean? And maybe I got a few moves off. I didn't really like kill it, but the crowd got super excited, and maybe I had 6 points and a couple assists or something like that. But I think the fact I didn't back down, and the fact the excitement was so high, they asked me to go on tour. But I didn't even know you could go on tour. I didn't know it was an ongoing contest. Like they were doing the reality show. And I didn't even know until the first episode aired that it was about us trying out. I didn't know that. I just thought, well, I'm thinking it's Hot Sauce and main event, and like, why would it be us? You know, I'm thinking small, but yeah. So
How did that go? So like, did you obviously did well enough for them to invite you? Did you just have to pack your bags and like next day you're on the bus, or like how did that go?
Yeah, no, you actually go home. What was it? I went home that night and they had to do a background check on you. So, like, I missed 2 games. I missed the Oakland game, missed the L.A. game, and then they did, like, a Phoenix game. So I flew out for that, and now I'm, like, one of the contestants on the bus. But I went crazy. In Phoenix, I went crazy. The Phoenix, I had, like, 20-some points and a bunch of assists and stuff like that. And then – but that's all, like, on the first 2 episodes. So, like, the first 2 episodes start with a bang, and then I think it was, like, a 35-city tour. But – it was a lot of ups and downs, right? And then I had animosities are my idols, but now when I'm on the court, I'm still a hooper. I didn't, you know, I'm looking at it as equal. So all this animosity.
How much of it was you trying to win a game versus you trying to entertain? Because that's the thing that I think that a lot of people didn't understand was like, it's almost like there were some people out there that were haters of it. And they were like, man, this is like wrestling, like WWE. It's fake, you know. It's these guys couldn't really hoop. And then once Skip made the NBA, it was like, wait a second, these guys are a little bit better than a lot of people think. You know. So how much of it was like let's say Harlem Globetrotters, and how much of it was like, let's go win a game?
I think like 50-50, 60-40, somewhere in there. But like the show is why they're there, right? So like, but I'd say it's 50-50 because the show is what brought the audience and all the buzz and the hoopla. But we're hoopers. We were actually overly concerned with winning, like probably even more than we should.
You also can't lose. You can't be those
Yeah,
guys
you
that
couldn't.
lose.
You know, when we lose, everybody panic. You know what I'm saying? Coach mad, corporate mad. You feel like, you know, it's like in hoops, right? It's like you morally did something wrong, but it's really bad for us because like you're there to wow the crowd. You want pandemonium, floor runs, but then like you didn't even win. You know what I mean? It's like a bad thing. So yeah, but I no, they lost one game before I got there, and then I was on the team to beat them twice, but I felt weird, like I was doing something wrong, but then I was like, well, we hooping, we got to compete. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would say it's 50-50, but that was really hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like playing on the opposing team against them was way easier than playing on the team, because like it's just a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? Like 10,000 plus people in the arena or at the park, and then like everybody's hacking. You know what I mean? Like everybody's hacking. It's an all-star game, so you only get the ball. Sometimes I got the ball less than 10 times in a game, right? So it's like when I got it, I had to like put on a show right away.
I know about those.
It's hard to do though. You know what I mean? So. Luckily, things went in my favor a lot of times, but it was always a challenge, to be honest. It was super hard.
After Skip to My Lou makes the NBA, is everybody on the team all of a sudden like change the mentality, like, oh shit, we can make the league now?
Yeah, okay, sorry. You touched on that. My bad. So what I wanted to say is it's even like my comments today, though. It's almost the same, right? It's like either this is the circus, you can't play basketball, like I'm not even good at basketball, like garbage, or it's like, they need to play Steph Curry right now. You know what I'm saying? This needs to be a 1v1. Like, right? They go, it's too high or too low. The level of and one would be like a lot of talented dudes who had like NBA aspects about their game, but maybe not the full package. But like if they're in the pro am versus NBA players, they fit in. You might not know if you didn't know their names or not, you might not know who's in the league and who's not. So it was actually like really high level talent. Couple of guys like Hot Sauce pharmacists were more like novelty entertainment players, but I think Hot Sauce shake up overseas players, NBA play, all that. Like, you know what I mean? Because he brought a new style that nobody ever seen. You know what I mean? So it's like Hot Sauce game style wasn't in their ecosystem. So you in the league, it don't matter. The ball goes behind your ear and it's up. You got no choice but to go where he goes, right? So you gonna look, and then he's back there, he's clowning. So he was really talented too. I think the level was really high, to be honest. Like, way higher than it gets credit for. That's the sad part.
Yeah, I think the other thing that is pretty cool to me is like there's a couple moves in the NBA right now that I'm like, I was the first person to teach somebody that ended up using it. Like there's moves where I'm like, that move right there, I remember introducing it at like the 2011 Nike Skills Academies, and I'm like, you know, that move wasn't a move, you know, like maybe it had happened before naturally in a game, because there's sometimes where I'll be seeing something, I'll be like, oh, this is something that like so-and-so did, and then I'll look back and I'll be watching Michael Jordan clips. I'm like, MJ did it in 88, like never mind, you know what I mean? But is there any moves that you think were like, hey, it might not have been me who invented it, but like I was the one that like put that move out in the world?
For sure. I think like the move he brought up is from above the rim, but like I did it, I'd act like I go get cut off on the baseline, and then I'll turn like I'm going to set it back up. Like, oh, we got cut out. Let's go reset, and then go behind the back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
go behind the back and then
I've
bring
seen you
it
do
back.
that.
So I called it baseline behind the back. It didn't really have a
that
name.
move is killer, bro.
But people do it a lot, and I don't think they got it from me. Like, it's indirect, right? But yeah, so the basis of that move have been around for a while. But like you said, it's so many people do moves, right? Like Hot Sauce did it. Apparently, other people, he got mad at me. He said I took it. I don't know.
Can we talk about the sickest move I've seen by a 7'4" guy? Wemby the other day with a sham god.
Yeah.
How crazy was that? He's 7'4".
Yeah.
He like did that move. That
To be honest with
fire,
you, when you talk about the game evolving, like, you know, everyone's like, if you look back in the like 60s when guys would only dribble with one hand and like, you know, would like keep the ball in their same hand when they did a spin move and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you look at the different eras. I really do think that and one played a big part in the creativity that we see in the training world, which then bleeds into the gameplay of today. Would you agree with that?
For sure, man. For sure. And I think like I think even the big bros, like the OGs, don't get enough credit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, in my opinion, like, yeah, and1 had a huge dent in the game. You know what I mean? That still lasted. Like, Skip and Hot Sauce to me is like Hall of Fame worthy, in my opinion. Like, as a contributor,
100%.
like, you could make an argument just as much impact or more than some of the early Globetrotters. But not that the play style might have originated from the Globetrot, right? Things always go further back, but just it was big in the culture. Yeah,
It's so funny to me because and1 had such a big impact on basketball.
yeah.
And like it was every kid and player's dream and1, but it was every coach's nightmare. Like I don't know if you guys remember this or you
100%.
experienced this, but like
Of course, I'll try to make the league.
bro, well that was part of my question, but every
Yeah.
single coach I had, if I did somewhat of like if my crossover was out here instead of here, or like I did some sort of move that I would try to copy from you guys, every coach I had, this ain't and1. Fundamental, this ain't da-da-da-da.
And1 and AAU. The
Literally.
two biggest things that coaches that were like fundamental coaches hated.
Literally. So the
Yep.
second part of that for me is what at any point in your career are you like, I can make it to the NBA?
Yeah, so what happened was, it's funny because I always give my response online and people are like slandering. They're like, you just weren't good enough. Like, it's like a little bit more layered than that, right? So when I was like 18 years old, I was way too puppy-eyed, right? Like I couldn't even play D1 because even though my skill, like I played a year at JUCO and I was a bench warmer. Because even though I was really good, it looked like I was 12 years old. Like literally could pass for a 12-year-old when I was in college. Like some people look young and some people are like, no, that's a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
like if
yeah.
I walked in here and you guys had to guess my age at 18, you'd think I was like, there's no way you would say
14.
over 15. No way, right? So even if you're nice, if you have an alpha coach, he's not going to be into that. You know what I'm saying? Unless you scored 50, right? It's just like undeniable, but I wasn't quite that type of player. You know what I mean? Like my game has always been more of like an underdog, but then it's like, whoa, you can really play. And then like sometimes I will go crazy. It's like a hero moment. I'd be excited about that. But yeah, I think going back to what you said, it was always the issue for me, like in regular basketball. I played and1 for a couple years, and then my OGs, even my coach Steve Burr, he played in the NBA, and he was like, bro, you could make the league. He's like, you got to go to the right places, get around the right people. Like he's like, you could make the NBA. And I was like, you think so? But I'm already like 21 or 22 saying that. You know what I mean? And so where do you go? Like, I'll just went and played in the IBL, right? Because that's the low-hanging fruit pro league. But, like, no one's going to respect the IBL. So, like, I played in the IBL. I think I averaged, like, I don't know, like 17 and 5 or something like that, right? And I felt good about it. I'm like, man, we killing this league. This is whatever, right? So then I got with a different manager, and then he brought me. I moved to Atlanta, and the next thing I know, I'm in the CBA. This is like the G League equivalent, I guess, if there was one back in the day. And there were some NBA players there, and I couldn't get past the stigma of and1 is bad.
Right.
It's the circus. Like that was my stigma even playing in school, right? Like my college coach. I remember one time I did that move where you go behind the back, but then you throw it back with the other hand.
Jason Williams.
Perfect to a dude. He dunked it. It was like perfect on the break. You stopped the whole practice. Like, come on, man, with this AAU shit. Like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? The coach got my ass, and I'm like, oh, I thought it was a pass, but yeah. So that was that. The CBA, I was more. I found out like I'm real like business illiterate, entertainment illiterate at the time. So like I was just brought there to sell tickets, but I didn't even know. I'm like, I killed the IBL. It's like nobody know IBL. You know what I'm saying? So I got there, and then I actually proved myself. I got in the starting lineup. Stephon Marbury's brother was the starting point guard. I thought I was better than him. I'd still.
I remember him. He could
I'd stand on that. Yeah, but I felt like. It was,
yeah.
He's like, but.
I hear what you're saying, and I do think he was decent, but like I could play regular ball, but I never really I just couldn't get an opportunity. So like he got injured one time. I started 3 games. We went 2-3. I remember one game I had like 27 and 5, and then the other games maybe like 13 and whatever, but we won, right? We weren't winning at all. So it's like we won. I'm like, oh, it's a chance to prove myself. And then we got healthy. I just went back to the bench, and then it's like 10 minutes a game or less. I think I played like 15, 20 games. Then the money got funny. You know, before it was ran by the NBA, it's like any pro league is about to not pay you at any given moment. If it's in the U.S., for sure. Because it's drawing an audience so hard, right? There's no reason to go to that game. So, yeah, so I just went back to street ball. I got offers to play like overseas and stuff, but it didn't pay me as much as my and1 contract. So there is a route where I could have did that. But you know how it is, making the NBA is so tough. But like I felt like I played well against NBA players in workouts and then like in the CBA back and forth some NBA guys, but I never got a real opportunity to show my skills. And maybe I could have moved different, got a different agent, but at the time you got to think I'm like a kid, so like I don't know the right outlets.
Who's the best matchup you've ever played? Like in it could be real game or street ball, but like, was there ever a time that you got to match up against a pro where you were like, man, I held my own, or I got my ass busted, or whatever? Like, best player you got to match up with?
Well, I got my ass busted by Skip for sure when I was like 18 or 19, but I only guarded him like a few possessions, right? It was like in Toronto too. It was like his homecoming for the And1 game. It was crazy. Like our And1 games had like Game 7 NBA Finals energy, like literally, like mid game. It's like Game 7 energy, like the volume of the crowd and everything. It was nuts. So that was always an experience. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like I'm trying to think. I played. Not a lot of NBA players played in And1, but like I went against some. Like I remember my first highlight against NBA player was versus Daryl Armstrong. Like I came down and like he was sagging off, right? Everybody was sag off, so I hit a jumper. And then next time he got up, and I went between his legs. We like fell in the crowd. He like, fell in the crowd, right?
Oh no!
Tried to like get up and like block it, and then he like fell. But so that was fun. But it's hard because like And1, it's like an all-star game. I can't. I'd be corny if I was like, yeah, bro, I'll play. Unless we're playing the whole game, right? But in the workouts, yeah, like I went against Drew Holiday. That dude's amazing.
Man,
best defender I ever played against for sure.
I think that's anyone in the NBA.
We were just talking about this the other day, though. He's somebody asked me the other day. They were like, "Are there? Hey, Drew, do you know any trainers that specialize in defense?" And I said, "No, there's not one yet." You know what I mean? Like, there's really not a trainer that's like a specialized in defense. And they're like, "Well, did you see that video of Drew Holiday playing all-time defense?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "But if I tried that with my clients, they'd all fire me." You know what I mean? They'd walk out of the gym. But do you feel like with the And1 game? Do you feel like on defense, y'all were like thinking like, don't get tricked, like don't end up on the bad end of a highlight, or were you trying to actually like lock up?
It was both. Like the opposing team was made up of like overseas pros who signed on for like 5 games. It was like from 3 places. It was like 4 or 5 overseas pros who traveled and they played like 4 or 5 games. So they're playing for real. They trying to lock up. That was always tough, right? And you could like foul in the end when they called it loose. All the way around, loose on the rules, loose on the fouls. I never understood that. And then it was the best street ball players would be contracted or like contacted that night to come through. So like the best in that city, if they were pros, they were usually like pros or like street ball legends or whatever. And then it was the 3 guys that made it from the parking lot, from the open run. And so those dudes are always sagging. They play defense like this. You know what I'm saying? No heezy, no between the legs.
That's so funny.
That was corny, but I mean,
off the heezy used to be crazy. That used to be the most disrespectful thing you could do.
Yeah, I mean, still is, bro. Last week, but no, yeah. So it was all different, but mostly it was trying to lock up. It was like a real game. Like some of them games were like pro-am games, right? That was the hard thing with And1, and that's why it'd be hard to recreate. Is like you could recreate it, but I doubt it would be as amazing as And1 was, because you had guys who were extremely high level but also high showtime level. You know what I mean? I feel like today, if you're high level, you like play overseas or you do something, and then like if you're a name but you're not in the NBA, you're just like a YouTuber. Like that level is probably like college. Like if you just had to average out the entire level of YouTube hoopers, it's maybe like college level. Maybe
I think that's being nice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Dudes maybe played high school or college. You get a little better after school. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? There's some good players. Don't get me wrong. Some of them are really good. I mean, not NBA good, but like, yeah.
I don't think you could duplicate the excitement level. The like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like nowadays, there's too much. Competing,
it was just different, man. It was just completely different.
I really would have rather obviously you go to an NBA game. That's super exciting as a kid. You know what I mean? Like my birthday present used to be a ticket to an NBA game. My Christmas present was the flight to the NBA game. So I got to go to one NBA game a year. Yeah. But back then, I really do think if you said, hey, outside of like watching Michael Jordan play, it would have been like I would have rather gone to an And1 game than go to an NBA game. I really believe that when I was in this era.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember one time I was on a fan forum or whatever, just like on the internet, and I remember I like couldn't even believe it, but they had like kids just saying who their best players were, just like you, right? and I saw like a chart, and it was like Michael Jordan, Vince Carter, me, Hot Sauce, Iverson, and Jay Will.
Oh my God.
Did like
That's
on
crazy.
this list, and I was just like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Because you're still like,
That's how big the culture was of
Yeah.
N1. I mean, it
Well,
was
yeah.
crazy.
It was even when like we were talking about the shoe, right? The N1 shoe. Like I had to go get the N1 shoe because I thought that would give me a little extra edge right
Yeah.
there. Like now I got the N1 shoe. You know when you would put your Jordans on, you immediately go to the court. You're like, oh, I'm feeling myself. Like if you look good, you're gonna play good, type of thing. And I think that N1 world, it was just it was. Those were my first sweatpants that you could like rip
Tear
off
off.
too.
Tear
the
off.
tear-offs.
Yeah.
Those are the first ones that my mom bought me and my dad, and like those were my gifts. Like those were like I didn't get to go to NBA games. My first NBA game, I think I was like 23 years old. Like I never went to an NBA game when I was a kid. So for me, like watching like basketball was also like the only game I could watch was the NBC game because in Tijuana, that's the channel 39 was NBC, and we got it off of like you didn't have to have cable, so you could just watch it off the antenna.
Gotcha.
I think the other thing is if you think about the evolution of like the basketball landscape, this kind of started as the entertainment world, you know what I mean? Like as far as digital goes, because Harlem Globetrotters was fun for kids, but it was like you had to go experience it. This was more of like, you know, the first digital. Then it transferred over to like the hoop mixtape, and you had to be like an elite player
Oh my God.
to get a video online where you got like a mixtape, a Ball's Life, hoop mixtape, one of those kind of things. And then it became like everyone had it, so it got watered down. So what you're saying, like to reproduce this kind of level of energy and excitement and culture, I just don't think it's possible.
I think it's tough. I think that it could be successful. It just had to be different. That's what I feel like. Like I'm trying to do a TV series now, and yeah, it's not the same, but I think it's all about entertainment, though, right? Because I think even when YouTube first came out and we got traction, like I thought nobody could have 1 million following unless they were mad nice. It was about the skills. But then you find out in entertainment, it's just like how can you be an entertaining watch? Can you get people to root for you, right? Like some of the influencers we know.
Well,
So I think it could be entertaining. Yeah, not quite like that though, right? With the skills and the mind blown, over and over.
comparing eras.
Yeah.
I'm super curious, and you don't have to give numbers or answer this question. if
It's
you don't
all
want to,
good,
but,
bro. I'm going back.
I'm so curious to know because I've never really heard how much N1 players actually made. Because I saw in a clip you say that you were almost more popular than NBA players at the time. So like I'm curious.
Not even almost like
We're more popular
NBA
than
All Star level. Yeah,
That's insane.
Yeah.
So like how much you made back in the day when you were more popular than NBA players as an N1 player versus today on social with millions and millions of followers.
Oh, I make way more today. Yeah, for sure. I think because like at the end of the day, like we were just happy to have that opportunity. They could have paid us whatever, right? You on ESPN, you get to call yourself a pro basketball player. The gear, you know what I'm saying? I'll get boxes as big as this desk, you know what I'm saying? Like every couple weeks of million shoes and you're a kid and or even for my OGs, they were 10 years older, but still they were either overseas or like they were forgotten college players or they're just making a living playing street ball. So like now to have an endorsement deal, it's an endorsement deal, right? You're getting all the gear. They pretty much could pay us anything, and I think everybody's deal was different. Like my first deal was like 60 or 70K, something like that. But they offered me less. My dad negotiated it, got it up.
He got 10%.
And then I know like probably Hot Sauce was the highest paid, first few years or one of the highest paid every year he was there. I'm sure Maine and AO had good deals. They were kind of some of the faces that were on, hosting and on the mixtapes and stuff like that. But yeah, nobody I don't think was making over 150K. I know my last deal was like a 2-year deal for a couple $100,000 or something like that. But I finally was unexclusive my last 2 years, so I could make money elsewhere. So I almost made $1 million in like 2007, and then 2008 somewhere near that. It was cool, but yeah. So it was like that. And then today, I mean,
Yeah,
hey, you
it's
go
just
crazy.
influencer marketing. Is just that's what it is today. Like I think brands are looking for more organic and influencer marketing than looking at someone that's a pro or a you would say like how much money a brand will rather spend over a big athlete that's in the NBA with just that's on the bench than a guy like you that has a platform and you can actually get people to actually go buy the N1 shoes.
All right, let's
I think it's even growing though. Sorry to interrupt.
No,
I think it's even growing too with NIL, because like some people have multi-million NIL, but they don't even do the numbers that me or somebody else been like, not even close, right? But like it's so they're seeing more into it and the value, so it's even forcing it to like go up. You know what I mean?
That's exactly where I was going to go. I was going to say, if you had the same level of attention that you did then, what do you think nowadays you could get for a deal? Put a number on that.
5 to 10 mil.
Oh my god.
100%.
Well, think
I
about
would
it.
say
We
10
were
mil.
no, literally, what we was popular is like Jordan and Iverson were more obviously, and like Vince Carter, like top of the league. But outside the top of the league, like it was.
That's cool.
No,
It
you're
was
getting an
and
Adidas
ones.
contract. You're getting a Jordan.
Yeah, I think it'd be a
contract.
shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah, 5 to 10 might be low. It probably depend for each guy, right? Like
How famous or popular would you say, you know, at your peak when you go out in public? Is it just a shit show?
well, I think I've learned a lot about marketing and demographics just over the years, because like at that time, there's like identifiable I've never been more identifiable than now. You know what I'm saying? Like I had an event in Abu Dhabi. We announced it the day before, 2,500 people at a half court. You know what I'm saying? For the exhibition. But that a lot of that's off legacy and just like being known. But I'm not like top of mind in the culture. You know, like I'm more like niche. You know what I'm saying? So like. And we were trying. It was hard, right? It's hard to be like top of mind in the culture where you're like relevant, like have a hit TV show or a movie or something like that. So we had that relevant buzz. I think the relevant buzz always feels a lot bigger. You know what I mean? So I think, that was, you know, it was a time. You definitely walk outside like, yo, you know what I'm saying?
Right. You go to a basketball game, you're getting swarmed today.
Today?
Yeah.
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 You know something funny, man, and I get it a lot. I get a lot of people come up to me, and they're like, "Hey, dude," and these are dads. Could you introduce me to Drew Hanlen? And I'm like,
He's the key to the league, man.
no, he's
You know what
he's the key of
To the back door to the league.
No, I'm serious. But like, how many people know Drew Hanlen? But it's like my age group, like the 40-year-old that knows that Drew has the potential. He has the.
Do you know what's crazy? So Netflix just aired their starting 5. And
you're on it.
there in episode 1,
Yeah.
it has Jason's mom telling the story. She's like, when, you know, Jason was 13 years old, I called Drew. He said no. I told him I would take out a loan to pay him. Like, I was willing to do anything and everything to get him to train with my son. And I wasn't going to take no for an answer. And then I kind of seconded, and I talk about the story and why I gave Jason a chance, you know, and then how, you know, we started developing him at an early age. And that next day, I screenshotted and sent it to Brandy. My DMs were flooded with parents saying, I'm willing to do anything and everything. Like, it was literally the exact script. I said, Brandy, you do not realize how many parents now are hitting me up because of that episode.
I didn't put two and two
course,
together.
bro.
That's why I'm bringing it up for the last 2-3 weeks. I'm getting DMs, I'm getting like calls, and I'm just like, dude, he's just not gonna train your son unless like the bag's there, and I don't want to be rude, but like he gets paid by NBA players, so like.
Plus,
he's
they're
the best.
delusional, period, right? Everybody's delusional.
Yeah,
like,
he's like, how tall is your son? How athletic? Well, maybe.
I promise you, I get more like 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade parents that'll hit me up and be like, you have never seen a more talented 3-point shooter. I'm like, the kid's probably heaving it from his belly button, right? You know what I mean? Like, and then I see highlights and I'm like, you know, all right. And again, the cool thing is I always think about the young me though. You know what I mean? Like the young me was that kid.
Me
I
too.
was the
I
kid
thought I was
that was
going to
heaving
lead.
it up with 2 hands, and then you know I had to change my own shot because I couldn't afford a trainer, and then you know had to put in the work every morning to become a good shooter. So there's still that love for me. That's like that kid was who I was. Like I was the kid dribbling in the living room, in the kitchen, and on a street ball court everywhere I could play. And you know so that's what makes me actually try to like. I normally give those kids one workout, so at least I can like. Be the guy
that's
that's
dope
like,
though. I like that you do that. You know what I'm saying?
You-
Because sometimes you're right. Like my dad was just looked at as like probably a delusional parent. He's like, no, my son is nice, but like sometimes it's politics. You look too young. You ain't strong. You don't play no defense, but you might be nice. Like you.
I've got a picture. I promise you, it's actually really cool. Cool Zach Levine story. I know Zach's not on the pod, but when we were, so I was in college still, and so Zach was maybe a sophomore in high school. So he got invited to a John Wall basketball camp. It was like Reebok's big, like top 100 camp. And so I was training John, and so he had me come and run the camp. And so they had selected 10 players to do this special workout with me and John that night. Zach was not one of the 10 players. And Zach came up to me and was like, hey, bro, he's like, is there any way they didn't invite me to the workout tonight, but is there any way I could come watch? And I was like, of course. I was like, I don't care. I was like, if they tell you no, just tell them I said yes. So Zach showed up, and I was like, yo, you got your shoes with you? And he was like, yeah. I was like, put them on. I was like, just jump in the workout. He's like, well, they said, I'm like, I don't care what they said. This is my workout. Like, you're good. And that day, we scrimmaged at the end, and Zach did this between-the-leg dunk from, like, almost a free throw line, and it went viral. And literally that started Zach's, like, journey of, like, being from, like, unranked to, like, ranked. And then a couple years later, obviously, we worked out in pre-draft, and then, you know, he became, you know, a multiple-time All-Star. But I have a picture of Zach in the background of me, like, teaching everybody. And I just think, I'm like, if Zach wouldn't have went up and asked, can I come to that workout? Can I get in that? You know, who knows? You know, obviously, he would have still figured out a way to become the player he was. But it's just crazy how those little moments, those delusional moments sometimes do spark, you know, something special.
Yeah, and that's dope that you were cool enough to even be in touch and be like, yeah, sure, right? Because a lot of people are just not going to answer. You swarm with kids,
Well,
it's kind of a headache.
My
right?
first question to the parents that asked me that, I said, does your kid love basketball?
They don't even know what that is, though.
I asked that. I told the dad, I said, does your kid love basketball? Because if he doesn't love basketball, like, you're just going to waste your money and you're going to waste your time and you're going to waste everyone's time. Because if they got to love it. They got to come in there and be, like, obsessed. He's so obsessed about everything, man. You have no idea. I've seen him. Like, he picked up a golf club for the first time 3 years ago, and he wouldn't let it down until he learned how to master it. Now he's teaching all of us how to play golf, which is crazy.
That's funny. Hey, don't you think, though, there's a difference? You guys know, right? You guys both played, obviously, know it at a high level, but there's a difference between.
I play in the men's.
Hey,
men's
no,
rec
all
league.
of-
Hey, 37-time champion.
Hey, bro, you nutmeg somebody, man. It's respect.
37-time champion over here from the men's league at Beverly Hills High School.
Hey, it's respect, bro. But it's funny because it's blurry, though. Like, somebody who likes something a lot and loves it. Sometimes time got to play out, right? In 5th grade, everybody loves it, right? But, like, I always feel like it's a hard tell. So when you ask that question to a parent, I don't think they know. Yeah, he loves it. Works out at the gym, and it's like, oh, all right. Like,
Do you think there's anything that you could do to bring back the street ball culture, not this level, not tour level, meaning like kids actually playing basketball? Like, I go to a park nowadays and there's nobody on the court, or maybe there's one kid shooting, or it's more likely to see a kid with, like, cones out there doing drill work than it is, like, just checking up. Like, it's funny because my sister, her oldest one, is 6. And when we, you know, obviously I put together a little workout plan for him to do every day. And so he's really skilled. But then he got his first game and she's like, he's so shy. And I'm like, you know what he needs to do? He needs to invite older kids over to just play in the back, you know, in the backyard and just hoop against them. Let them get thrown down in the ground and get up and figure it out. Do you think there's something that we could do as a basketball culture now to sprinkle that back into the game?
I think anything's possible. I think you need that relevant. Like I was saying earlier, you need like a hit TV show or a film or something to be a really big player in the basketball culture, as opposed to just because I feel like now, like when I have a viral video or something, I'll be more relevant, or if I make a cameo in a movie. But outside of that, it's like it's so like niche, right? Because I have kids sending me, they doing it now, but like you gotta hit like millions and millions and millions for that to actually make a dent in the culture for the moves or whatever. But it's hard too, because like in regular ball, they do, you know, Kyrie. I seen Kyrie do a move they called a carry on me for years. You know what I'm saying? Look, he did an in and out, he spun around, and when he got to here, he brought it back. Like I've been called, you know what I mean? So like that's so street ball, and that's like the NBA level. So I think anything's possible.
So I want to make a couple lists before we end the episode. We do this on episodes with our guests. First, I want to know who your top 5 content basketball creators are.
Ooh.
And not counting you and Bowen because you guys are street ballers. I'm talking like the
Oh,
Freegas,
man.
like those of the world, because I know you know a lot of basketball.
Yeah. You know what's crazy, though? Every other day, somebody show me somebody I'd never heard of, and they're like, they got a big old following. So, like, I can't say I can name everybody, but.
Some of your favorites. then.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, let's do that, because if it's matching up, I'm not sure. I got to go Friga for sure. I love this game. We collabed twice this year. It was great. Let's see. Who's there? Oh, Hezzy God.
Has he?
Yep.
Hezzy God. some dude beat Hezzy God the other day, and I was like, this dude is an animal one-on-one. I don't know how nice he is up and down, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like he was it Scar? Something Scar?
I
Y'all
don't
probably
know.
even know,
I
right?
don't know.
He had like a small following, but he beat Hezzy. I was pretty impressed by that. So I don't know. I'll give him. Let's see, Scar, Hezzy God, Friga. Oh man, I'm trying to think. Who are the nice ones? There's
T-Jazz solid.
T-Jazz. He's
T-Jazz
dude, he always
solid.
gets better. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
T-Jazz,
Yeah.
and he's like me. He was like an
He's-
underdog, right?
Yeah, he's
and
like
then
an entertainer.
yeah, but I think he's good though.
But he's
too,
getting
right?
he's getting better and
he's-
better every
yeah.
time I see him play.
Yeah, like I don't know what level that is, but he's pretty good. You know what I mean?
Marcellus can play.
Yeah. Who's the fifth?
Caleb.
spot?
Oh, Chris Staples.
Caleb
Oh,
Finster.
I'm gonna go with my homie Chris Staples,
Chris
for
Staples.
sure, bro. I never collab. Every time we collab, it like goes berserk. Like we don't have a collab less than like 3 or 4 mil, and our biggest one's like 35 or something like that.
I feel like Caleb's like the Jokic of the influencers.
Yeah, but Caleb doesn't really.
Are you talking Feemster?
Yeah.
I
he
love
doesn't really
Caleb,
hoop
bro.
like that anymore. though.
I love Caleb, man. He's
What do
great.
you mean? He's like the Jokic of the influencers.
He has. It's been a while since he's made like basketball content like that though.
He's like a big dude. Like can post you up, he can shoot.
He's the Escalade of.
Yeah,
He can play
content
though.
creator.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
we
he
can't
can
give
hoop.
him the Escalade. We
Escalade,
can't-
I was gonna
I was gonna say Escalade used to be Cole. He was the original
yeah.
Jokic, bro.
You're
He
right,
was the
you're right, you're
original
right.
Jokic.
If
You're right.
Escalade was around today, like on some influencer stuff, that would be special.
Yeah,
that would be
special.
hard.
Yeah.
Just no defense, Caleb. That's for sure.
All right, so Fess, I want to see if you can name the top 10 all-time assist leaders from the NBA.
Ooh, well, no.
It doesn't have to be in order. I just want to see which you can name.
I think I only got 3 though. It's Stockton.
Okay.
It's Mark
Stockton's
Jackson,
number 1.
right?
Mark Jackson's number 6.
It's CP3.
CP3 is number 3.
Oh, Mark Jackson's number 6 now.
Number 6.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So CP3's 3.
CP3 is 3.
I thought he went to number 2 the other day, or it was number 3.
He's 3. 2 is I'll
Okay,
give you
wait.
2.
Okay,
Okay,
Sorry. So
yeah, you go.
Stockton, CP3 is J Kidd.
J Kidd's number 2.
Okay, so J Kidd's number 2.
J Kidd's number 2.
Ooh, who's 4 and 5? Who are these? Who? Oh, it's Braun, right?
Braun's
It's like
number
I saw
4.
Braun up there. I was like, this guy just does everything.
Right.
Make
yep.
no sense.
Bron's number 4.
I don't know who's at that 5th spot. I don't even know.
You talking about the GOAT, LeBron? What were you talking
Is
about?
that your goat?
Phoenix Suns number 5.
Phoenix Suns number 5.
No,
oh,
no,
Steve Nash.
Steve
Steve
Nash.
Nash, really?
Steve Nash number 5.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if he went long enough for that. But yeah.
Magic 7. Oscar Robertson 8. Russell Westbrook 9, and Isaiah Thomas 10.
Okay, so I got 4 of them. I feel
Yeah.
good about that.
Hey,
I
Drew,
just seen the other day though with CP3.
without you guys saying Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or LeBron James, right? Who's your favorite basketball? Not your like who's the best who's your favorite NBA basketball player?
Oh, Iverson.
You?
Iverson, and you know what the crazy thing
Jay
is?
Will second.
Iverson. So I looked back at the year that they went to the finals, and back then as a kid, I was like, this guy never missed shots, never did any. He shot 30 FGAs a game, and he was under 40% from the field, and then he shot an additional 10 free throws. So he was literally shooting 35 shots a game, but it was just because I think for us undersized guards, you just looked at him and it was like, man, he was just so tough. He was such a competitor. He was such a winner. And then he had the entertainment side as well. So it was like, put all that together. And again, my favorite players were not NBA players growing up. Obviously, outside of Michael and outside of AI, it was literally like the Jay Williams when he was at Duke and the Slim Stoudemire at Arizona. And like, those.
What about you?
I'm Steve Nash.
Steve Nash?
Just based off
This
of like
dude is a
relatable,
beast, bro.
you know, just based
Yeah.
off of like who I would like watch Steve Nash mixtapes and highlights before my games. Just
Me-
because.
The guy's never passed in his life, but
Never-
Steve Nash is his
never
favorite
passed
player.
the-
That's crazy.
You know
Hey,
what?
He was a
You know what?
scorer
I
though
used
too,
to pass.
bro.
I used to pass.
Bro,
No.
honestly though, his footwork was crazy. I remember I sat courtside at a Celtics game. It was Boston versus Phoenix. I don't know what year that is, but I remember watching Steve Nash. I was like, hey, he keeps just scoring a layup. I'm
Soccer
like,
player, bro. That's what it was.
I would no, but he had like a hezzy though. He had a
Yeah, the hip twist. The hip twist. You
Yeah.
just go like
yeah. I
this and look
forgot.
at-
I forgot what it was. He had something like that, but like he just kept getting layups, and I was like,
His right and left, like high off the backboard around the rim, was like one of the best I've ever seen because he played low to the ground, obviously.
yeah.
His touch and like the fact that he could use both hands was.
Mine was Penny Hardaway.
Ooh,
I like
that's
that.
a good one. That's a good
Penny
take.
was cold.
I love Penny Hardaway, man. When his first shoe came out, dude, and like his commercials. He was that guy. He was supposed to be.
Influential.
An all-time
Super
great,
influential.
right?
Yeah.
Shaq said he believes he would be an all-time great
If
if
he
he didn't
doesn't
have
get
any
hurt,
injuries.
man, this guy would have been.
Him
And if
Grant
they would have
Hill.
stayed together,
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been crazy. All right, so Fest, we do this to end all of our shows.
Let's go. What's up?
We do our list. This is your dream king of the court. It doesn't have to be hoopers. It can be anyone. So, like, for example, some of us gave Obama. So give your dream king of the court.
King of the court, like who was all playing? You're
Who's
saying?
playing?
So
How
it's
many,
you
how
plus
many
4
guys?
guys. You plus 4, and it's dead or alive, just 4 people that you want to check ball against.
Oh, dang. We got to go. Yeah, because like you could do a whole celebrity one too. That'd just be
exactly.
fun.
It doesn't have to be hoopers. yeah.
Again, remember you could put some people on there that you might destroy. You might put other people that you're like, you know.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like my hoop one is, you know, we got Jordan. We got to go. Let's see, Iverson, Jay Will. Let's see my all-time favorite players: Jordan, Iverson, Jay Will. Wait, we're playing against each other. It's king of the court.
King of the court.
Oh, yeah,
King of the
yeah.
court.
Oh, this is fire, bro. Crazy. I gotta go Braun. No, I'd love to just play ones of Braun, like just to.
What about
test it.
non-hoopers?
Oh, non-hoopers. You know, you gotta go MJ, Michael Jackson, Prince. You know what I'm saying? You gotta.
I like that. I like
No,
I
I'd
like
probably
that,
go
yeah.
like when I was younger. I'd go like, Dwayne Martin, Woody Harrelson,
Wow.
Michael J. Fox, Teen Wolf. I was trying to think of hoopers
good.
in
That's a
entertainment.
good one.
I don't know.
Back to the
I don't know.
Future.
It's hard to
Air
say.
Bud.
Oh, Air Bud.
I go against
We were
Air
too
Bud.
cool for Air Bud. It was like corny. You're like, come on, man. Air Bud.
Have a little pudding.
Bow
A
Wow.
little pudding.
Oh yeah, like Mike Bow Wow. Yeah.
Bow Wow.
All right, well, Professor, thank you so much.
Sure, bro.
That was awesome. We appreciate you for coming out. And until next time.
Honor, bro. Appreciate you.
Damn,
guys,
we're not
man.
gonna talk about.